button and then you just hope. You think it actually happened.
Yeah. Just waiting for people to show up. Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. I think we are in here, part of the party, having some fun. Happy Friday, everybody. Goodness gracious. But hey, I've got a friend here with me. I'm hanging out with Greg.
Yeah. How's it going?
Greg Ake, the old friend and fellow over at Level Effect. But you know what? We have been scheming up and brainstorming and actually have a sweet little proof of concept for an event that we've been doing, ContinuumCon. And Greg, I think I can pull up some visuals. I can let us banter and kind of chat through all this. But would you be willing to kind of, I don't know, lay the foundation? Tell me a little bit about what was this wild, crazy idea for ContinuumCon?
Oh, I mean, it started out as an unbridled clench for capital gains, right? No, no. I think we were all talking, and it really just revolved around wanting to feel more interactive, right? You go to a conference, and you just get this like wash of information over you, and it's sort of overwhelming to try to observe and infer what would that be like, how would I do that at work, or how would I emulate this, right? So the whole premise was, what if we could do a conference that was just hands-on, like you're practically doing the work with the presenter at the same time, and making it more of a workshop than a presentation where you sort of sit quietly and try to take screenshots of slides as fast as you can to try to remember what was going on, right? And sort of the whole premise of it sort of turned into ContinuumCon, this conference that's hands-on, you're interactive, you're actually, if we're talking about it, you're doing it. And then the added benefit of, even when the conference, the live portion of the conference is over, you still have all of your VMs, all of the labs. You can continue working through those challenges and building those skills.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of my favorite, I don't know, really just epiphanies with this was that the realization that, look, I go to a lot of cybersecurity conferences, right? And I got a silly old kind of hype reel stuff to be able to get some of the good info out and about that the event's happening. But whenever I go to a cybersecurity conference, I'll be the first to admit I don't usually sit in the conference hall or the ballroom to listen to a talk. Like, I want to go play the capture the flag, or I want to go be part of the workshop or go through some of the training. But then, hey, I don't know, is it waking up early? Is it a matter of stopping for lunch? I don't have the computer or the gear or the equipment with me. I got to wait for something after the fact because I'm not at home. So we thought the real love and allure with ContinuumCon was that, look, it's all online. It's totally virtual. The live streams, the actual content and presentations themselves are open. Like, anyone can tune in with the live streams, but if you wanted to roll through the workshops, and that is the real treasure here, across digital forensics, incident response, malware analysis, reverse engineering, threat hunting, a lot of blue team, cool defensive cybersecurity work, and some red team shenanigans, a little bit more offsec. The coolest thing is that, look, you always maintain access to all of the lessons. And this would build out for like every session being a workshop, that you'll get access to even all of last year's presentations and workshops and sessions, right?
Yeah. So the idea is that, every year, even if you've missed the first one or the second one or the third one, is that when you join, you sort of get that retroactive access to all that content, right? So you're getting hundreds of hours of content for a conference, and having all of that interaction, right? We've got Discord, tons of people talking through, working through challenges. So it's a very collaborative environment, a lot of people willing to help each other out, and of course we're there to help out as well, and the presenters of those workshops.
Yeah, I love the Discord because that is totally the sweet community aspect for everyone else being able to jump in, share some of the GIFs, share the memes, and just have fun, right?
Absolutely. And that's why it never really ends, I guess, right? I mean, even though there is the live portion of it, right, we still have interaction and people working through challenges year round.
Well, if I may, I thought it would be kind of cool and kind of fun. We'll chat a little bit about Level Effect and JHT, just hacking training, for us to join forces here. But I wanted to show some of the real interface, like some of, hey, what
Yeah.
you jump into, what you gain access to for ContinuumCon, looking at 2025 sessions and workshops and activities, exercises, and the labs and the CTF. And okay, cool. 2026 is in the works. We're doing the call for papers, but take a look at some of the sweet showcases from last year. What, if I may ask, were some of your favorites? I don't know, anything that stuck out to you in memory? Miter?
Yeah, the miter one was good. I like just sort of I think, that one always like stuck out to me just because we were able to talk about the misconceptions of miter. Miter's just used, and you and I have talked about it at RSA with miter, right? Just the misconceptions of how miter's used in marketing and how it's used to sort of push like unfortunately at times a false sense of security. Like I've got 100% miter coverage, and it's like you don't really. But no, that was a really good one. There's so many good ones in there that it's hard to really pick one. I really enjoyed that it was interactive. It wasn't one to many. We were able to field questions back to presenters in near real time and get some of that interactive questions answered instead of having to wait. I think people appreciate that.
Yeah, being able to have the live conversation is a benefit in its own right, because then the questions that roll in, people saying, "Oh, I'm struggling with something. Hey, I need a
Mhm.
little bit of help getting the virtual machine up and running." That was the coolest thing, right? Because this is all interactive, hands-on, practical lab learning, and they go through MITRE Caldera and this one specifically. But it was just cool to get some folks from MITRE to join the party here.
Absolutely. Hopefully, they'll show up again this year. We'll go pressure them.
I love the fact that, look, these are the systems, these are the virtual machines, these are the Windows endpoints, the workstations, the Linux servers that you could just start, spin up, and connect to anytime. Like that's
Yep.
the perk. That's the benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Every workshop has its own VM, so they don't even interfere with other labs, right? So you can completely destroy and go crazy in one lab and just totally wreck a VM, completely revert it, and it doesn't affect anything else, which is really great. You're able to sort of jump back and forth, and sort of have these different experiences without having the burden of maintaining all the infrastructure. Well, I know that's fun for some people, right? But when you're just trying to learn and get access to like, all right, what is that technique? How does it work? It's really great to just have everything set up for you and it's like ready to go. And I feel myself, and from what we've heard, a lot of other people really appreciate that, being able to have that, sort of curated experience instead of having to fight VMs or, I can't log in, or why is my domain controller not responding? And you're missing half the presentation because you're just troubleshooting. So I'm glad that's been worked out and we don't really have to fight through those kind of gremlins.
I think we had an awesome lineup last year for 2025. Like the speakers and the folks that were willing to throw their hat in the ring to
Yeah.
provide and to showcase a workshop were awesome. Like Matt Anderson is a fellow friend, a detection engineer over at Huntress. Chris Lowe is doing incredible stuff with Tracecat. Luke Rogerson, John Tuckner. Oh, I loved the secure annex, like demystifying browser extensions direction. There is so much cool stuff that could be lurking and hiding away in different browser extensions.
It's horrifying what you can find in there. But if you want to demystify and figure out how to go find that stuff, this is a great workshop on that process.
Yeah, I love his because he includes even videos. So, like, you wanted to catch up or get a certain part or piece of the session, always available. What, if I may, could I ask if you were willing to tell me a little bit about your own workshop? One of the cool
Ah.
benefits was you had made one too, just as well, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, practical adversary emulation, right? So this is a workshop that gets you up and running with Atomic Red Team. It is you have an attacker machine, I believe, a victim machine, a domain controller, so everything's in the domain, and it covers how to do emulation with a focus on detection engineering, right? So using the Elastic SIM, we create some detections, we emulate some attacks, and validate our detections. And it's sort of an iterative process of emulation, testing, validation, sort of going through that loop to ensure, like, hey, what does MITRE coverage look like? How do we evaluate that? Yeah, and there's the video of
There's
you and
us.
I talking with RSA. We're famous.
No,
I'm almost as famous as you now, right?
no.
But yeah, that's the whole point of it. Yeah. and just sort of going through that iterative process to writing good detections.
Well, I tried to help tee this up because I think, this whole ContinuumCon concept, the idea, the brain baby to think, look, let's make even more accessible cybersecurity education in the usual conference virtual event style, but with the long tail, sweet ripple effect of, look, just access, just persistent lifetime
Yep.
access to whatever you're up to. I gotta say, hey, this is realistically even the back end, right? We're using some of that core stack engine and platform to be able to host some of the cool training that you have been doing at Level Effect, right? Can you tell me a
Yep.
bit about it?
Yeah. So, yeah, we we do training at Level Effect. We initially didn't start out as a training provider. We started out building an EDR, an endpoint detection and response tool, which we successfully sold to Huntress, and that's sort of my day job employer, along with you, John, and Matt Anderson, as we mentioned, who was one of the workshop creators. During that pivot, we kept Level Effect live because we had started to doing cyber training. I had been affiliated with some other boot camps and other things out there, and I just personally felt embarrassed that the quality versus price that was in the industry just wasn't fair or right or morally, put it, so Level Effect is more of a passion project of me and the other founders. It is something that we sort of make content and put it out there to hopefully benefit others, and it keeps us sharp and it keeps us with our ears to the ground. And we've helped a lot of people, or at least they tell us we've helped them, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, that's Level Effect in a nutshell. And I saw somebody make a comment that we primarily do blue team stuff, and I think that's sort of where we really sort of started off. Is there wasn't really good blue team material. Now, if you recall, we started Level Effect in 2017, and there was really no blue team training out there other than really like SANS. A lot more people out there doing a very good job on the blue team side, which we're happy to see. But yeah, and we'll be doing a little red team stuff in the future. I think we have plans.
Well, I love the just kind of cool collaboration and kind of partnership between your show, your shindig, the venture for Level Effect, and I got to be honest, I got to admit my own, right, with
Yeah.
JHT and the Just Hacking training, Dawn, and a lot of the other incredible people that help make this thing happen for even more like practical hands-on application-based
Yep.
learning. And we hope that echoes into the idea and the mission behind ContinuumCon. So we thought, man, you know what, maybe these two party people are the best folks to put together to make ContinuumCon
Yeah.
2025 and 2026 and 2027. The conference never ends.
Yeah. I'm tired already.
Well, if I may, for run of show, right, we will probably be doing this thing over on June, not January. Goodness gracious, that's in the past. June 12th to June 14th. Last time, if folks caught it, I think it was all a little bit of a rough timing. I was out like half on vacation, half not. Greg, I know you were busy, so it was like, hey, we keep this casual, we keep this friendly, we keep this, I hope, very, very real, very, very human. And all the folks that make these incredible presentations and workshops for your continued education, they do the incredible work. They put in all the hard work.
Yep.
We just sit in front and chirp.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I guess I will go on to say that we are ready to help people build these workshops
Of course.
because they're not just, like making slides. I think there's people who are really good. I mean, I've seen you make slides minutes before a presentation, and you whip those things out really well.
Tell everybody
You've
that.
turned it into an art. Workshops, right, are considerably more time involved to build it, right? You're scoping VMs, infrastructure, you're setting up use cases, you're making sure that they work, that they're repeatable. You should be able to like bundle this up, where when you hand it to somebody, you click start and it works, right? You don't want people troubleshooting. So we're definitely available to help people in building the workshops, troubleshooting. We've helped set up the VMs and deploy tools and get things working. So I certainly don't want people to feel like, hey, I would totally want to do a workshop submission for ContinuumCon, but I'm just sort of worried about all the work that's involved. Like, we're here to help you. We can roll up our sleeves and help commit some work to that to get it built and across the line for sure. AI solves security. That's great.
I'm filling in
We're
my
done.
submission.
We're
I'm
done,
trying
dude.
to let me select all of them here.
There we go.
It's done.
Yeah, it's applicable to all. We've solved all of those issues. I like
I'm
that.
making light of it. I'm having fun, but again, I just wanted to, hey, show how easily this is hopefully accessible for you.
Yeah.
If anyone did want to jump in and throw their hat in the ring, like provide a workshop, whether it's, hey, practical Python, whether it's building out your custom LLM models, whether it's doing whatever you might do to detect some new tradecraft out in the wild. Like, really, the community effort of ContinuumCon comes from you, both as attendees and
Yep.
workshop presenters.
And I'll pivot off of that too and say that like it doesn't have to be like emerging the sexiest things out there. What I've always found really interesting is when somebody takes something that everybody sort of takes for granted, something like tactical GRC. Yeah, I saw you laughing at that one. I'll get to that one. I can answer that one in a question.
Okay,
But
cool.
I've always liked when somebody could take something that's sort of like mundane and everybody sort of just sort of looks the other way, like Wireshark, for example, and then somebody will come up and show something really cool that you could do. It's something that they've learned, or it's just their perspective on it that brings sort of like a new face to some content. So even if you think something is played out, it still doesn't have your perspective and your experience shared with the community, right? If you look at cybersecurity and who's sharing ideas and who's talking at conferences, it's the minority. The vast majority of practitioners and people in this career field are not sharing their thoughts and ideas with the broader community. And that's one of the things we wanted to do at ContinuumCon is give an avenue for people who are like, hey, I know this is a really well-known tool, but I use it this way and this is how I like to do things. Bring it. Like, we want to see it. If you could help somebody else, it doesn't need to be the latest malware analysis technique or the latest immersion or intrusion analysis kind of stuff. It could be something that's been around for a while where you just want to bring your spin on it and try to help others. So with that being said, there's a wide range of content, right? We have like introductory, level content up to advanced emerging technology and, AI based things in there as well. So we got a lot of cool stuff.
If I may dance with that too, I know, right? Maybe some fun pulling back the curtain. Us, you and I, we and the team and the crew putting Level Effect and Just Hacking Training together to put our heads together for ContinuumCon 2026. We were scheming up like, oh man, we've got some proof, we've got some evidence, we know this thing works, we know it can happen, we know we can pull it off. It's awesome, we're happy. But how do we make it cooler? How do we make it sexier for 2026? And we were thinking, what if we added the old, usual conference like subtitle? Do we add a tagline? Do we add a caption? And I'll say, I hope you don't want to, I don't want you to get too mad at me, Greg, but we were thinking, oh, what if we had it like ContinuumCon Mad Science, like for something new, something super current. But it was genuinely, honestly, you and your blessed foresight for us to be a little bit more grounded and realize like, hey, actually, honestly, I don't want to limit anyone or hold anyone back from submitting anything because we're trying to say, oh, it's got to be the latest and greatest, cutting edge, bleeding edge. No, we still just want to share and celebrate whatever learning and education across any direction, facet, or aspect of cybersecurity. So it didn't need to be, and we threw out mad science.
Yeah, I can be a curmudgeon at time. I don't.
Oh, it's good.
The cyber community and I have a hard time. Like I've thought about starting a podcast, just like Angry Man Rants at Cyber, but I don't like the marketing hype stuff. It just detracts away from what we're all trying to do, and I think people bringing content here in good faith to help educate and share with others. We're trying to make this as cheap as possible to cover our costs for the conference, right? Where this isn't like a cash grab kind of a thing. Maybe I'll take us out to like Chili's for some quesadillas with all of our sweet profits. But
we will do another Chipotle run, you and me.
yeah, dude, yeah. RSA the every day. If you want to find John at RSA, go to Chipotle. That you'll find him there every day. That's a little citing tip for you.
Yeah, good inside info. I go to Chipotle ceremoniously every day.
If you happen to have an extra breedable steak, he might sit down, right? That's we can lure him in. Yeah, man. I like the idea of themes, but I didn't like it being so early, and it just potentially would alienate people because I would love to have people who are like, I'm super new to cyber, like I only know this one thing and I wanted to build a workshop to share it. Because even if it's been done 1,000 times, like it's still your interpretation, your analysis. You're still putting it out there. That's something that could go on your resume. You've presented, you've shared your thoughts on something. And if we're looking at the far left of the spectrum, the people who are new trying to get into cyber, trying to get a job, like you have to put yourself out there. You have to show that you're passionate. And the best way to do that is to participate in something, right? So having an avenue like this where you can participate is giving you those bona fides you need to sort of, show people that, you're to be taken seriously, that you want to work in this field. Because there's a lot of people unfortunately who want to work in cyber, and the thing that they seem to be excited about the most is I want to make a lot of money in cyber. And it's like, that can be true, but it does require a lot of work, a lot of good faith, a lot of collaboration with people as a team sport. There's not many people who go very far completely by themselves. So yeah. Did we have any questions? I think there was one about the tactical GRC.
Yeah.
Right? And that one, that's like, what the hell is that? The whole premise is there's I've been wanting to make a course on this, and I haven't. I've tried to talk to some other people, but nobody's really wanted to pull the trigger on it. Tactical GRC is traditional GRC, right? It's governance, it's documentation, it's interpretation, it's interpersonal skills, talking to technical people. Hey, does your server have this control set? Yes, no. You score it and you sort of rank things. Are you giving a 1 to me?
No, sorry, I was trying to pull up another screen.
Okay,
I was saying,
saw that.
Please stand by. That's
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. So tactical GRC is the application of GRC, but you're having the technical skills to validate it yourself, right? A lot of people who work in GRC are not as technical as the frontline operators, right? So the goal was to blend those skills, give GRC folks enough technical acumen to go validate and do that level of technical work to validate the controls themselves without relying on somebody else saying like, yeah, believe me, right? We always have to trust, but we must verify, right? So that's really where it came from. Just hands-on GRC.
I wanted to just pull up the old YouTube playlist. And again, if folks are interested, they're stupid. I hate the fact that I'm just chilling in a hotel room. Super casual, super fun, friendly. But I wanted to just bring these up so folks are tracking, folks are aware. Hey, this is the totally accessible, totally open. Like you could go review and look through, and there's a playlist for all the old instance. Because I did see one question that came through that was saying, hey, if you grab a 2026 ticket, will you immediately get access to all of the 2025 material?
I think I need to confirm with Anthony, but we had talked about that. I think there is a way to do it. I don't know if it's like you pay a little bit more, like $20 or something, and you get all last year, or it's just in the higher price ticket. Because currently, I believe we have 2 tiers of tickets. We have one that gives you like lifetime access and extra VM hours, and I think that one also just comes with the previous year. I would need to confirm, and that's the way it should be, honestly. So we're just going to make an executive decision right now, and I'm just going to say yes, you get last year's stuff. And I'll just make it happen.
So the answer is yes, without a doubt. Cool. It's if you jump up to the tickets page, and I was a little squeamish because I hate $signs. People are going to get their pitchforks out. The YouTube comments are going to smite me down. I'm sorry, but hey,
you used to do free content, John.
I still do. Look, we're having fun. The price tag, I hope, is accessible. For the amount that you could get for just a quick, easy buy-in does have a limit, which is not what we want. The Guardian one is the lifetime access to all of the things. And when you press that button, that will bring you to and include that has all of the past and previous instances.
Good.
That is all immediately accessible. And then we'll see you June 12th through June 14th.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, we had a comment there. Somebody said, I feel like cybersecurity has become a market that attracts beginners and sells them dreams, and only a few of them evolve and prosper. Also, a lot of the content doesn't even relate to real world. And that's my opinion. That's that person's opinion. That's my opinion as well. There's a lot of claims of grandeur and wealth, and in just 2 short months you can make 6 figures. It's just no. That's not how any of this works. It at a time, I'd say about 4 years ago, you could have like a net plus, sec plus, and there was enough, the economy or what have you was working well. We were seeing people get jobs, entry level jobs, but that stuff's really turned a negative corner in that people are really struggling. You have to show practical skill. You have to be able to do something, right? And I don't just mean like I could use Wireshark. You have to convey value, right? When you learn a skill and a business says, "Why would I hire you?" They're only looking to hire somebody to reduce their risk. They're dealing with cyber threats. They need to reduce that risk. So hiring somebody who's completely green is a risk additive, right? So that doesn't help reduce risk. So you need to do whatever you can to show that you can actually do the work. Can you actually triage your workstation and find malware? Can you remediate it by removing the malware while leaving the machine business ready? Like, hey, here's how I defanged it. Here's how I removed the persistence mechanism. Here's how I got all this stuff out of there. The computer's still ready to go. The business can still be making money. Being able to convey those kinds of things will get you to be taken a little bit more seriously in conversations. Saying, I've got Net Plus or I have XYZ certification, you're a good test taker. That's all that's validated up to that point. You need to show that you can actually do some of these things. And a great way to demo that is do a workshop at ContinuumCon. Show us what you can do. Make a workshop showing you how to triage a computer with malware on it using open source tools or proprietary tools, or maybe you write a script, maybe you vibe code it. Claude Code's good enough now where you could pretty much tell it what you want and you could get some pretty cool stuff out of it. So, get out of your comfort zone, go make something, go show it off to people. And we'd be happy to take in your requests for your workshop and collaborate with you on it.
What do you think, Greg? Did I miss anything? Have I not fallen down in any direction? I do want to hype up the CTF, but
you've done fantastic. I'm just so enamored by you. I got you. There you go. I got to shut up. That's how you do it.
No, you're true. That's true. It's so fun. I'm so glad chat gets to hang out with us for totally real, regular, friendly banter, where you do see the madness, you do see the fun, you do see some of the sweet behind the scenes. For us, just trying to put together what we think is good, like what we like. Like, I think the mission, I think the idea, the concept of ContinuumCon, I just don't think we've seen other places, and it's good. But the CTF is in the works, right? I think Level Effect and your crew typically drives CTF challenges. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes. And I believe we last year, and we'll do it this year, we gave away courses, JHT courses, Level Effect courses as part of the prizes and things like that. Corporate sponsors, nobody really knows who ContinuumCon is. This is our second year. So if corporate sponsors want to chip in, we're willing to do more cooler prizes and stuff like that. I think at this point, we wanted a conference where it would just be fun, in our thing. And it's just good content, good people willing to help each other out and build their skills. And it's something that you can keep and retain, right? It doesn't disappear after a little while, that you can, go back and reapply, relearn if you forget it. I mean, hell, I forget more than I've learned at this point, right? I have to constantly reread stuff that I knew by heart that, So yeah, having a place to go, have like the VMs, you could just click start and bam, you're back in it.
Well, after 30 minutes of banter, I think that's kind of the spiel. What do you think? Do we just kind of chill for a couple minutes, take a look, see if there were any questions in the chat?
Yeah, I think there were a few questions that I saw. They've gone by, but if anybody wants to ask a few questions, happy to field those. And if I can make John feel more uncomfortable, I'll find those opportunities and take full advantage.
But thank you for hanging out with us, everybody. I know on a Friday timeline, we wanted to be quick, wanted to at least spread the word, share the love for ContinuumCon, and just get a chance to hang out with Greg. That doesn't happen often. Yeah.
It happens quite often, actually.
This is a fact.
Yeah, me and John are gaming buddies, so we troll people quite often.
One came through. Hey, ticket prices won't increase as we get closer to showtime, June 12th or June 14th, or will they as we get a little bit closer? I saw a strike through of like,
Yeah, I think there's a 20% off, but I honestly, I don't know when that goes away. I'd have to look into that. This is a very formal enterprise where we've got all of our ducks in a row. I mean, like, at this point, somebody could be like, I don't think it's fair you remove the discount that day. I'd be like, you know what, you're right. Like,
here, we'll give
convinced
it
me.
back. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, we got a few questions. What would you qualify as the marketing hype stuff, just so I can avoid it? Oh man, there's so many things I want to say. The gist is things that appear too good to be true. And I will say this from the perspective of as somebody who I ran a boot camp. Right, boot camps get bad names in the rep, and rightfully so. And my strategy was I would basically try to sell people out of taking my course. Like, I really want to take your course. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you really want to? But it's like, we made our course hard. Like, I tried to make it hard, not brutal, but I tried to make it hard just so people could understand that this isn't just, if you take a course and if you're new to this and you're taking a course and you feel like I'm really getting this, I'm understanding this, and you just might be brilliant. But any course like that, in my mind, is like they're teaching you at the 100,000-foot view. You're not getting into the nitty gritty of how things work, and those are the kinds of things that I look for. Like, what kind of tools do you use in the course? How deep into things go. Somebody mentions college right there. I took a college course on information system security, and I had one class where I administered a Server 2008. And that was the only time I touched a computer in the degree program. So not good. So I guess you're really looking for depth of the labs and content. You don't want to see people showing you things because it's cool. Like, a good example is like, hey, let's show people how to decrypt and encrypt things. That's cool. But how often are people doing that in their day jobs? Hardly ever. John, how often do you encrypt and decrypt things?
I don't.
Yeah, right. I mean, unless you're looking at malware and you have to decrypt something there, but that's, a lot of these labs are just very superficial that you'll see out there with a lot of training. And I'm not trying to throw too much shade, but like, they're just based off, what's the word? They're based off of like themes. Like, somebody opened a Net Plus book, or I'm sorry, a Security Plus book, and said, "Oh, they talk about encryption. Well, let's make a blog." Or sorry,
you got
not blog.
a lot of phone trouble. I don't
Yep,
know if you're
yep,
getting
yep,
any
yep.
calls or any messages, but
Yep. Yeah,
if you got
so
to bounce, let me know.
they'll just make a lab on, the very very lightweight topic of encryption, and be like, all right, now you know that material, and it's like, no, you don't. It's very technical. It's very deep. Just say it. No, I don't have a problem with platforms like that if you know what you're going there for, right? Like, I like those platforms for, like, I want to get an exposure to a lot of different tools and technologies in a short amount of time, and I want to beat them up for exposure's sake. It's fantastic. But if you're like, I want to go work in a SOC, and you've never done like malware triage, which is different than malware analysis. Like, if you don't know how to walk through a Windows operating system, know everything the malware's done to sort of manipulate or get its hooks into it, well, then how can you remediate it? How can you assess the scope of how bad the threat is, and what the remediation steps are going to be? How is it going to be contained? And, follow-on actions there. I'm rambling now, but
No, you're great, Greg. This is why we wanted to get together. It sounds like there is a big push, though, for the practical, hands-on application, real-world learning of going through the work, going through the exercise, going through the activity, actually getting a feel for the lay of the land. And I don't want to sound like a broken record. I hate to be beating a dead horse here, but that's really what we're hoping to make accessible and easy for you with ContinuumCon. So
absolutely.
that's the pitch. That's us talking shop. Anything more sticking out to you, Greg, or should we kind of wind this thing down? It's been about a half hour to at least get the folks together
Yeah.
and showcase what we're excited about. But the CFP, the call for papers, and really call for workshops is kind of what I think we should really get across the door, because we do really want to see your contributions, your work, what you'd be willing to help share once we get to showtime, June 12th to June 14th. But we're going to be calling in some favors. You know, we're going to ask some of our friends from in high places if they could make something awesome, super cool to showcase. So you will still have a sweet show for good entertainment and education. But if you feel like you can throw your hat in the ring, please, please do. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't say it any better than that.
I can't either.
I won't try then. You did such a good job.
Yeah, is it time for pizza? It's Friday?
It is
pizza?
Friday.
It's
It's
Friday?
Pizza Friday. Yeah. I've not seen any other questions come in. When is the deadline for CFPs? Geez, you think I'd know that too. Anthony has it written somewhere down. Honestly, so we do have a deadline for CFPs if your goal for your workshop is to be live on Twitch and all the other streaming platforms that we do, because we need to make sure your content's approved. We're going to help you with a workshop. We're going to get it ready. We have had people come like literally during the last conference, like in the middle of it. They're like, I want to make a workshop. And they released a workshop like a couple weeks after the live event ended. That's totally fine. Like if you want to add to this year's workshop, even after the live event occurs, that's still totally fine. You can do that.
Super cool. Community event, community effort, community hangout, and great education. So what do you think, Greg? Should we tune out? Should we call it a day? Let's get
I
back
think
to the
people
weekend.
are saying it's pizza time.
Yeah, it's totally
I
pizza
think
time.
we have to heed the call.
All righty, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit. I hope you tune in to ContinuumCon, June 12th through 14th. Links all around in chat. I know it's flying around, but it's pretty easy. ContinuumCon.com. So,
yeah,
I'll wave us out in the slow, awkward click end